Jeffrey, who came into our agency seeking assistance with his utilities. He was signing up for our LIHEAP program.
There were some issues that I had with the house that I knew there was no way I could afford to address them.
You know, we found that we had a construction in the mid to late 70s, and that some of the codes back then were different than they are obviously now.
When the inspection was done, it saw that the installation that was presently here was inadequate.
We were able to look at some of those things and come up with a strategy to help him, you know, tackle some of those future needs.
I went through the LIHEAP program, and because I went through that, I was able to sign up to participate in the Weatherization program, which I thought was a very smooth process. The people were very friendly, they were very helpful. That you couldn't ask for a better situation.
Well, our weatherization program, I mean, yes, it's kind of an energy-saving driven program. We want to help people make an investment into their property that they may not otherwise be able to do, and then in turn lower his utility usage, freeing up extra cash for him and his family. That's really our goal.
I can tell a big difference. Where at night I had to set my thermostat on 78, sleep under 2 blankets, and also a space heater. After all the initial things that they did, I'm no longer using the space heater. My thermostat is set at 71 or 72, and I'm actually sleeping under 1 blanket.
We have a duty to our community to help people. It doesn't matter who you are or what your background is. If you're there in a position and you need help, we should be there to be that helping hand. And if it's just a quick hand up, hey, great. If it's more in depth and we have the ability to help them, then we're going to help them. And if it's an ongoing thing, as long as we can find the resources that are necessary, we're going to do those things.
This program, number one, is phenomenal. The people I met have been very informative, very helpful, they're friendly.
He told me that he once worked in social service at one of our brother and sister agencies.
In my past, I worked at the Weatherization and Housing Program in Kankakee County.
And now that he was in Will County, he just reached out to us. He kind of knew where to come.
Although I was hoping never to have to use it, I'm so glad it was there when I needed it.
What a great guy. We couldn't ask for a nicer client.
I appreciate that the program is there. I appreciate Brian and the guys that work in that program. It has been a lifesaver.
It was some church I think it was out of Iowa. They had a paper going around during the summer and seeing that people need work done on their houses.
There was the church group and the volunteers that were going to come through and paint her house and do a lot of cosmetic things.
They said I needed too much work and they couldn't come.
The basement was in such disarray and there was nothing that they could do or they were qualified really to do in order to make that area better. So from what I gather is her name was given to Will County, and then Will County contacted me to come out and do the inspections.
When he called, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was like somebody playing with me. So then he told me he was from Will County Community Concern. Raz came and went through the house and told me how bad shape it is in.
I opened up the front door and I looked down the house and I'm like, all right, this is gonna be an easy one. You know, we're gonna get in, get out, you know, really help this individual out. And you know, I walked through. And then I went down the stairs and I went to the basement and I went, uh-oh.
My foundation was cracked. The floors was caving in.
Plumbing, terrible. Hot water tank, terrible. Electrical, terrible. I mean, and I knew at that point that this is going to be a major, major job.
The work was so extensive and so costly. I'm on disability and I could never afford to do this.
The main support beam of the house, this house is 100 years old, it's made out of wood. and the posts are made out of wood. So I get a call from the contractor, Hector from GNC, who's the owner. He goes, the bad news is the beam and posts are rotting out. And I'm like, well, what's the good news? He goes, well, the house hasn't fallen down yet.
The house was bowed in, and they told me that it was gonna fall in eventually in the next couple of years if I never got it fixed. I mean, all the major things, I think he hit on mark. All the minor things, I can work and get it done.
Mrs. Mavry, I mean, she took care of it. I don't want to get misty, but she took care of a lot of people, and it's her turn. It's her turn. She deserves this.
I've taken care of my 2 brothers till they passed. And one passed in 2003, one passed in 2011. And I took care of my father till he passed 3 years ago. And my mother says, you taking care of all these people until they passed away. She said, God is gonna do something good for you. And I said, when? I'm gonna be too old to enjoy it. And I guess this is it.
They're getting a gift, you know, to make themselves in their homes and their living conditions just better. And I believe in that in my agency and all the other agencies. I firmly believe in their core. That's our goal.
This was a blessing. I thank God every day for that phone call. The Lord was looking out for me. That's all I can say. And Raz.
I became homeless because my first husband died.
I was already out there for a few years already, and pretty much the rest of the homeless community knew me. And as long as she was with me, they weren't going to bother her.
That was my very first time being outside on the streets because I was scared.
She didn't even know nothing about sign until she met me.
Yeah, I
turned
never
her on
knew
to
nothing.
that.
I was clueless.
Yeah,
And that's what
we did to get by with the little things.
Everything we needed, we got by with the sign every day.
Me, I got a little bit of a background, and I have found it very difficult since I've been out to find employment, stuff like that, because when that stuff pops up, nobody wants to help you.
I got to know Mike and Joyce. They were standing outside panhandling, and my manager went out there and convinced them to come in our office.
Me personally, I was skeptical at first because I'm used to the world not really caring about any of this.
We started talking to them more and more, and they got comfortable with us to a point where they told us their fears. Everything they've been through, going to other agencies and not receiving any type of assistance, they just gave them the runaround. So when they came to us, they were very skeptical. So it took us a little while.
Then I became sick and had to be in the hospitals off and on with my health.
And that got me to rethinking a whole bunch of stuff. I'm like, man.
The day that Joyce became ill was the day that that Mike decided to change everything. He started deciding to come into the office, to do case management, to speak to us, and we gave him hotel assistance for the first time, and that kind of got him coming back to us for more assistance, and that made him believe in us.
What really triggered it for me is when they assisted us with paying with that hotel room. When I saw that happen, I thought there's something to it maybe then.
We've helped Mike and Joyce with energy assistance. We've helped them with a St. Vincent voucher that helps with household items, and of course, housing.
When we first got here, it was surreal to me. The day we moved in, we didn't have nothing with us.
Yeah, we didn't have nothing.
We just dropped our stuff on the floor and went.
Crash on the floor to sleep.
Do you believe this?
They were really excited to move in the apartment. They couldn't believe it. They just kept staring at me and like saying, is this real? Is this real?
It's actually legal to be here?
The way they looked when they came in our office to the way they look now, it's a big change. It's a big difference.
We do laundry now, and I vacuum up and downstairs in the floors down there. I plant flowers outside.
We're still helping them little by little get to that point to become self-sufficient.
It's just a matter of taking up the rest of the slack ourselves now and figuring out a way to maintain it long term. That's what I've been thinking about.
We want them to do better for themselves. We want them to be part of the community. I believe they will never go back to being homeless ever again.
I'm glad it exists, because without it, I don't know where I'd be right now or where she would be right now. You know, because when you live your life hour by hour just trying to get by, you don't know where you're going to eat next. You don't know where you're going to find your next shirt. I mean, it gets that difficult.
To see someone grow so much, it's very rewarding.
Changed all that.
They both changed everything for us.